Greetings Multiverse, and I'm here with my review of Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Mayhem in the Multiverse, the latest DC animated movie. I've just finished watching the whole thing. It came out this week, and I was very impressed. But before we go on, there is a big thing that you need to know before checking out. Now, I really loved the last two Teen Titans Go movies, Teen Titans Go to the Movies and Teen Titans Go vs Teen Titans, where the original Teen Titans show crossed over into Teen Titans Go. This is purportedly another crossover. They've already done two with the DC Superhero Girls show, and both of which were very good, and they worked very well together, especially Robin versus Batgirl, Starfire constantly trying to get in the team, Zatanna and Raven. They all worked very well together. Here's the important part. This is supposedly the third Teen Titans Go movie. It's not. This is not a crossover in any way. But as the Teen Titans make fun of halfway through, this ain't a crossover. This is a DC Superhero Girls movie. Even though they're second in the title, this is 99% DC Superhero Girls movie. The Teen Titans barely feature in this, and most of the time they're literally just watching the movie going on like it was Space Jam. It's a lot of fun, but I'm not sure why DC was so dishonest about this. Actually no, the Teen Titans point out exactly why DC is so dishonest about this.
Wait a minute! That's it! We're not glomming onto their popularity!
They're glomming onto ours!
They know that DC Superhero Girls isn't as popular as Teen Titans Go, and so they're leeching off the popularity and the audience for Teen Titans Go, who have already had two very successful movies. So they're literally throwing them in there in order to put them in the title first! First in the title. I don't know why they call it Mayhem in the Multiverse. It's barely even a multiverse movie. There are a couple of universes in it. Freaking Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had more universes in it. And that's saying something. So at least, like 70% of that title is incorrect. Well, the Teen Titans Go are in it. There is some multiverse shenanigans. Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans was far more of a multiverse movie. In fact, it was a very good multiverse movie. That really went hard on the multiverse stuff. This is a DC Superhero Girls movie. There is a fantastic scene between Zatanna and Raven that almost justifies their inclusion. Otherwise, it is not a Teen Titans Go movie. If you are a huge fan of the Teen Titans Go series and are not fans of the DC Superhero Girls series at all, then you won't like this. This is, like I said, 90% DC Superhero Girls in a proper movie. And on that scale, it's a very good one. I know little bits about the DC Superhero Girls. I know little bits about Teen Titans Go. And of course, I've played the game. You can find a link to that elsewhere in the video. So I know the characters. And on that note, it actually is really good. There's actual continuity. There's actual things going on. There's actual villains. The freaking Justice League shows up. It's actually funny, and I think it's funnier than Teen Titans Go because it feels a bit more like a natural comedy type of way. There are silly, funny things happening. Batman is the best example of complete and utter silliness.
Batman, buddy, tell these guys how we saved Gotham!
Not this time.
What do you mean, not this time?
But yeah, it's got the rest of the Justice League in it. Two other Green Lanterns. It's got Superman. It's got Aquaman. I should point out that this is a full spoiler cast. I forgot to put that up, but yeah, this is full spoiler territory now. But I am very happy with this movie. I really enjoyed it a lot, and it helped me knowing a little bit about DC Superhero Girls. I mean, just little bit knowing about who they are. I've seen a couple of the episodes of the show. I've obviously played the game, so I have an idea of all their relationships and how they fit into the wider DC universe. And I really liked what happened here. This actually was a semi-serious DC movie. It's got like real good comedy elements in it, and it's got this little bit of a tween feeling, but it was just a straight DC movie. It's got with the Justice League versus the Legion of Doom, led by Lex Luthor, who get the upper hand. There's some great bits with like Kryptonian lore, essentially the Kryptonian devil, and it's really cool. And also, this is a really good send-off for the voice actor of Supergirl. Nicole Sullivan is the voice of Supergirl in the DC Superhero Girls series, and this is her last role on the show. After this point, she's no longer part. She's leaving the show. This isn't so much a send-off for her. It doesn't like get rid of her or anything like that. But she is definitely the main character, I think. All of them have their moments, but it feels very closely connected to Supergirl in general, and this works as a very good send-off for the character. It really deepens her character quite a lot. In fact, I don't want to get too far into spoilers in case you're still on the fence about watching it, but it is a real good send-off for her, and also is great for Wonder Woman. Like I said, they all get their moments, but this is the moment where they remind you that Wonder Woman is actually thousands of years old, so why is she hanging around with a bunch of teenagers? She just gets recruited by the Justice League. That's one of the greatest moments in the series.
Game's over, Luthor.
Finally, Wonder Woman is actually approached by the Justice League, and she's now part of the Justice League in this series. I barely know the show, and that had me geeking out. Finally, we got Justice League animation again, versus the Legion of Doom. In a DC Superhero Girls movie that's supposedly a Teen Titans Go movie. And yes, it's got some silly comedy elements, but it is more skewed towards a bit more of a serious story, to be honest. I'd say like 80% of it is just a straight DC story, and that's great. That's exactly what I wanted and did not expect whatsoever from a show featuring the Teen Titans Go characters. And yeah, the remaining 20% is mostly skewed to the few appearances of the Teen Titans in it. I want to go back to that though. I mean, there are scenes between the DC Superhero Girls and the Teen Titans, but even though they've had 2 crossovers already, the DC Superhero Girls don't recognise the Teen Titans. The Teen Titans make fun of this, of course. They're the ones that are just breaking the fourth wall all over the place and just saying, look, what are you doing? Continuity snobs. That's literally a line. And I like that. But that is pretty much all the humour of this comes from these guys pointing out how absurd this situation is that DC put them in this for like just a couple of scenes, which are near totally irrelevant. Like I said, I do love the scene between Raven and Zatanna, and the ending almost goes away from the DC Superhero Girls in a way I don't like. They literally had a great DC Superhero Girls movie, and they decided, no, it's not going to work on its own. We have to crowbar in the Teen Titans Go series. That's literally what they did. It's all completely forced in. This is one of the few shots I could find with the entire cast of both teams in the picture. This happens close to the end of the movie. I mean, there are a couple of scenes of the Teen Titans. They're literally watching the movie and going, what's going on? It's supposed to be a crossover movie. But they're the voice of the audience in many ways, so what are you doing? It's hanging a lantern on it. It doesn't change the fact that this is not a Teen Titans Go movie. And yeah, the rest of it is just a great DC Superhero Girls movie, and I highly recommend it for that fact. But if you go into this thinking this is the third Teen Titans Go movie, which I did, that's how they advertised it. They advertised this as the third Teen Titans Go movie. The Teen Titans Go are barely in it, and it's a DC Superhero Girls movie. And that was very dishonest, DC, Warner Brothers. I mean, I understand why you did it, but it's cheap money reasons. It's cheap ratings reasons. You thought you could get away with it. You're not going to. Every fan of both of these shows is going to be cross. I would have been very happy if they just kept it a DC Superhero Girls movie. I would also have been happy if they made it more of a crossover, because the last crossovers between these two teams have been great. The last 2 Teen Titans Go movies have been great. But this is not a crossover. Well, this is barely a crossover, and yet you put the Teen Titans Go first in the name. They're in it for about 10 minutes. They make fun of the fact that they're only in it for 10 minutes. You can call attention to it all you like. The simple matter of fact is, you still did it. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed this movie despite that bizarre, cheap fact. If you have any sort of love for the DC Superhero Girls series, you will be in absolute heaven. This is a really, really good DC Superhero Girls movie. But if you just have a bit of knowledge in it, if you just have knowledge from the game, like I do, then you'll go into this and thinking, this is actually really good. This is actually just a proper Justice League DC story. That's what a lot of people wanted. That's just more focused on this teen girls team. And it's great. it's lots of fun, and it's not as silly as either of these shows ever get. That's why the Teen Titans Go are so out of place in it, because normally they cross over fine with the DC Superhero Girls, because they're, I wouldn't say they're quite the same level of humour, but they work well in sort of more silly situations. I don't know if the show has been getting slowly more serious, as in DC Superhero Girls, has been getting slowly more serious over the course of time, or more continuity focused, or more actual storyline focused, but this movie is, for the most part, just a normal DC movie. It's great. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I had a little bit of knowledge to go into it. So the stuff between Batgirl and Harley Quinn in it made a lot of sense to me, even though I hadn't seen the moment where they stopped being friends, which was always a neat twist in the show and the game. Harley Quinzel and Barbara Gordon are friends, but Batgirl and Harley Quinn obviously hate each other. Obviously, at some point on the show, they found out each other's secrets, identities, and have kind of opposed each other, and this is a consequence of that. And so there's a cool storyline involving that here, and that's a side plot point, and I really enjoyed that too, because I was aware of it. Even slightly like the DC Superhero Girl show, or just slightly aware of it, give it a go. This may surprise you. There's lots of cool things in this movie, and one of those things is not the Teen Titans Go. You could have easily removed the Teen Titans from this movie and it would have made no difference whatsoever, other than feeling better. It would have improved it 100%. I know I've used percentages a lot in this review, but it would have done nothing but improve it. They do nothing but hold it back, because their style of humour does not fit with this movie. It feels out of tone with the rest of the movie. They are primarily there to point out the stupidity of the fact that they're there. So if you remove them, there'd be nothing for them to comment on. So they make no difference whatsoever of them being there. It would have actually been a lot better if they had kept the sort of the crossover scene here and kept it a secret. If they had not massively advertised the fact and put them in the title first, in the title, it would have been a lot cooler if there had just been like one scene of the DC Superhero Girls crossing over and meeting the rest of them. Because the scene between Zatanna and Raven is kind of important to the plot. They could have done it another way if they wanted, or they could have just, like I said, kept it a surprise. And I would have geeked out if they had crossed over and met the Teen Titans. In fact, I bet that was the original plan, because the way they shoot it like a surprise that, oh god, they've ended up in the Teen Titans Go universe again. But because of them being almost omnipresent for the rest of the story, it's not a surprise. And so obviously someone decided, they're a lot more popular, can we boost their appearance a lot more and stick them in the title? That's absolutely what's happened. I bet they wanted to keep it a surprise, the actual filmmakers, but Warner Brothers decided, no. So, but that all aside, I think I've complained about that enough. Teen Titans Go, DC Superhero Girls, Mayhem in the Multiverse is a really good, really fun DC movie. Just straight like that. If you have some knowledge of the DC Superhero Girls, you will enjoy it a lot more. If you were expecting a Teen Titans Go movie, or the third one, you would be massively disappointed, because it ain't that. It ain't that. And if you were looking for more of a crossover between the two shows, then watch the Summer House episode, which is an extended episode, I believe. So it was like a mini movie anyway. On its own merits, it is a really good show, and I really enjoyed it. What did you guys think? If you have seen it, what did you guys think? Leave a comment below, or on the Inside the Multiverse Discord server, which I'm a big part of, which you'll find a link to in the description below. Please like, share and subscribe. That all really helps me out. And check out other videos on DC Comics Gamer, including my review of DC Superhero Girls Teen Power on the Nintendo Switch. Thanks for watching, folks, and for now, Multiverse and Mayhem out.